All right, good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday the 17th, and more winter weather to talk about. And roads across the region are getting better as a lot of areas got above freezing today. Helped out with some of the road conditions, but the secondary roads, county roads, stuff like that, are pretty ice and snow covered still across the area. And this little system that's coming in, it's not going to be a major storm. It's just going to be enough to cause a little bit of a nuisance out there and basically re-energize or renew some of the road conditions could go downhill. So in a few spots. So in the pink here, I think that the biggest area is basically from a Little Rock up to northeastern Arkansas, through Memphis, over to Nashville, and northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, into northern Georgia, basically the southern half of Tennessee as well. There's going to be light freezing drizzle to light freezing rain, up to a glaze possible, but I think there's going to be a little bit heavier amounts, especially maybe around the Little Rock to Memphis area and western Tennessee. There could be a little bit more than a glaze, maybe up to a tenth of an inch of ice. So that'll be enough to cause problems because we already have cold ground temperatures. The pavement is super cold. I mean, anything that falls is going to stick and create some problems out there. So black ice, just be very careful. Like I said, we had a lot of melting going on today. All that is going to anything that's left on the roadway is going to refreeze tonight, and then we're going to cloud up tomorrow. And like I said, black ice. Just be aware of that out there as well. So I think up here in the purple, we're going to have another a system come down Thursday night. This will come down towards basically central northern Missouri, Iowa, and through parts of Illinois and Kentucky, and then skirt east here. That's why I think in the purple up here, basically just around a little bit north of Nashville, up towards southern Kentucky here, to the mountains of the Appalachians of Tennessee and Kentucky here. I think you might start out as a mix maybe some sleet, maybe a few snowflakes, maybe some freezing drizzle or rain. Could have a light glaze, so little minor icing there, and then it might switch to snow, and then we could have accumulations of either dusting up to an inch, maybe a little bit higher than that. I think that the better chances of higher than that will probably be across the Kentucky into northeastern parts of Tennessee. And anywhere in the blue here, I think snow is going to be more predominant, especially with the second system coming in tomorrow night. And you could get a dusting uh, out here towards Missouri, maybe a little bit higher that as you go up into Iowa, maybe 1 to 2 as you go into Iowa. And then as you get towards Kentucky, I think that's where your chances go up for 1 to 2, maybe higher than that as you get towards the mountains. West Virginia could be the winners here of possibly 4+ inches, 4 to 8 inches up there, especially in the higher elevations of West Virginia. Okay, so let's go over the latest advisories across the area here. All right, here's the hazard map. This is a little bit more user friendly. This is on the AccuWeather site. So this shows all the watches, warnings, advisories, etc. So you can see here in this gray area, basically from eastern Arkansas, this is including Little Rock, Pine Bluff, over towards Jonesboro, Memphis, Covington, Dyersburg, Union City, over towards Paris, Tennessee. All basically almost all of Kentucky is under a winter weather advisory. Just southeast of Poplar Bluff, maybe basically a county over. Winter weather advisory. So these out here towards Arkansas is in effect until noon. So it's only in effect for 6 hours because they're thinking it's going to be basically a quick hitter out here, basically affecting mostly the morning commute, and then starting to go towards northeast Arkansas, which is in effect till 6 a.m. or 7 p.m. Thursday. So 6 a.m. Thursday it starts, and then it goes in through tomorrow night till 7. Across eastern Arkansas, you get towards Memphis. It's in effect till 7 o'clock. You get towards central parts of Tennessee. It's in effect until 9 o'clock Friday morning. Starts at noon. Then you get up here towards Kentucky, starts at noon and goes until 7 p.m. Friday because I said you're going to have basically 2 waves of moisture. You have one come up here tomorrow, and then the second come in Thursday night with more snow. And then as you get towards West Virginia into parts of Pennsylvania up here as well, the higher terrain, you're into winter weather or winter storm watch that starts Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern time and goes until Saturday 1 a.m. And all this up here across the Great Lakes, this is for lake effect snow. So winter storm watch is up here. Buffalo's getting absolutely slammed again. Orchard Park, which is where the Buffalo Bills play, they're expecting another 2 to locally 4 feet of snow over the next 36 hours up there. That's just crazy to see. And then up here towards expand out here up towards Iowa through the Dakotas here. Winter weather advisories. This kind of peach color is wind chill watches because of that cold air. That the second punch of cold air is coming down for the weekend. This is wind chill advisories that go in effect tomorrow night through Friday across parts of Kansas into Missouri. Then out west, there's going to be a pattern change next week, and the west is going to get a lot more active out here across that area, and we're going to be central and east. It's going to be more of a southerly to southwesterly flow, and that's going to spell some trouble possibly as we go into Sunday night through Tuesday. And I'll go over that here in just a second. All right, let's go over to the WPC site here. And this is showing the probability of freezing rain accumulating greater or equal to 1/100th of an inch is basically a glaze of ice. So the lighter, basically the yellow here, 5 to 10. Once you get into the greens, light greens is 10 to 20% chance. And then as you get up towards Memphis and over towards Nashville, that's where the bullseye is for greater than 50 to 60% chance of seeing ice accumulating greater or equal to a glaze. So that goes all the way across parts of uh, most of Tennessee here and into the mountains. Kind of bleeds over into Virginia as well, southern parts of Kentucky. So that's why I said my map looks pretty good that I made a couple of days ago. This looked basically spot on to what we talked about a couple of days ago, like I said. And then let's go to greater or equal to a tenth of an inch. Doesn't really show that, but a glaze of ice is going to be enough to cause some travel issues across the area. And that's why they have those winter weather advisories up across most of Tennessee and into eastern Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and into all of Tennessee or all of Kentucky and the Boot Heel of Missouri. Sorry about that. Alrighty, so let's take a look at a few. Take a look at some timing here, real quick with one of the models. All right, here is the HRRR. Here's 00Z. So this is at right around 3 to 4 in the morning. There's nothing really going on, but then as you get just an hour in, you see these little splotches starting to show up here across southern to central Arkansas, and that's going to be the light freezing rain part. There is going to be drizzle around too, which I'm concerned about. How far north that gets up until northern to northeastern Arkansas to south central Missouri. A little bit more of a question with me, but I have to put it out there just in case because drizzle does not come up on radar. So gotta put that in there just in case because anything that falls could have some spotty issues on the roads. Have a couple slick spots out there, but if you get into some of this light freezing rain, it could slick up pretty quickly across here. So little blips here and there across Little Rock to Hot Springs over towards western parts of Mississippi here. This is let me see what time. This is at 6 a.m. Just keep it right here like this. So as we go to our 7 a.m., more light freezing rain is kind of blossoming here across northwestern parts of Mississippi, eastern Arkansas. There's little blips here and there in Arkansas. Like I said, it could be light freezing drizzle, could be some spotty light freezing rain. Like I said, just enough to cause some more travel issues out there. So as we go to 8 o'clock in the morning, basically riding the Mississippi River here all the way up towards Memphis and northeastern parts of Arkansas. 9 o'clock, getting close to Dyersburg, um, Tennessee. Northern parts of Mississippi getting in on this freezing rain, light freezing rain, and some drizzle. Still possibly ongoing back here to Arkansas. Maybe getting as far north as northern Arkansas. We'll have to see how that goes. But then the rain really starts getting going here. The light freezing rain really gets going about 10 o'clock tomorrow across the northern parts of Mississippi and through western Tennessee here. 11 o'clock. Here's 12 o'clock, getting across northwestern parts of Alabama. Most of western Tennessee is socked in with some light freezing rain. So roads are going to become pretty slick across through there, especially if you get a little bit more light to maybe a moderate freezing rain shower that comes through. It'll slick up the roads pretty quickly. So as we go throughout the day, this will change to some sort of go from freezing rain to rain basically across southern half of Tennessee. So as we go into tomorrow evening, a lot of that freezing rain will change to rain across southern half of Tennessee. Still ongoing up here towards half of Kentucky, and then the snow up here towards northeastern parts of Kentucky. And here comes that next system coming up here towards Iowa into Illinois, bringing some snow down this way, and then more snow possibly coming back into Kentucky. And this is worth that with that cold front, that Arctic front that's coming back down to delivering another punch to most of us. So there could be some brief light snow showers around early Friday morning. And then that gets off here. And then some very heavy snows up here towards possibly New York City to New Jersey and back here towards Maryland as well. And then that gets out of here. Okay, so let's take a look at temperatures real quick. Alrighty, as you're waking up in the morning, you can tell all along in Kentucky, parts of most of Tennessee will be in the teens. So that's already going to cool off the roads even more. And with cloud cover coming in, even lower 20s, the teens across parts of eastern to central Arkansas. And then as this stuff gets going, you see the warm air is trying to push in here. So that's going to get above freezing in southern Arkansas after daybreak. So the freezing drizzle and freezing rain down, light freezing drizzle, light freezing rain down that way will turn to rain, and road conditions should get a little bit better. But then as we go towards 9, 10 o'clock, towards lunchtime, we're still in the mid to upper 20s across Tennessee. As that moisture is moving in, even in the upper 20s, mid to upper 20s to around 30 in northern parts of Mississippi into Alabama, into northeastern parts of Arkansas, you're still in low 20s up that way. So, like I said, anything that falls from the sky could slick up roads pretty quickly out there. As we get towards the afternoon, you can see where the warm air is really starting to it's really starting to warm up across Louisiana into Texas, possibly in the 60s around Shreveport tomorrow, right around maybe 70 across parts of southern Louisiana. That's just a little teaser before this before this Arctic front starts coming down. So as we get into tomorrow night, you see here comes the Arctic blast coming down through Missouri into Iowa, it's back down into the single digits in Kansas City at midnight tomorrow or Friday morning. And as we get into 7 a.m. on Friday morning, look, it's already below zero back here in Iowa, northern Missouri, parts of Kansas, and then back here into Arkansas, into Oklahoma as well. So let me go back to the central so you can see that a little bit better here. See where the Arctic blast is really coming down. And then uh, temperatures will not be going anywhere on Friday. And it's really start cooling back off after that. Okay, so let's take you through the weekend and show you some temperatures there. All right, so here is Saturday morning when you wake up. It could be below zero in parts of in parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, here into parts of yeah Tennessee, right around probably just north of Nashville. If you have some of that thicker snow cover still down or ice cover, like I said, you can go below zero here. And then we have teens to 20 to 25 below zero up here towards Iowa into the Dakotas. Below zero, getting close into the Ozarks. And then highs on Saturday. This is going to be high. Your highs on Saturday, maybe breaking, maybe in the 15 to 16 degree range around Memphis. Just a brutal Saturday for you. 25 Monroe, low 30s in Dallas, and 30s and 40s all the way to the Gulf Coast, even low 40s around New Orleans. Low teens in central parts of Tennessee, single digits below zero up here towards Iowa. Then we go in through Sunday night, and it gets it. You're gonna be below zero, possibly almost 10 below zero over here in Kentucky, parts of Tennessee. Starts slowly warming up across parts of southern Texas here, and it warms up a little bit during the day, and then kind of cools down at night. But then you see where the problem lays or lies around parts of Texas here. Got some warm air trying to come up, but then we have cold air kind of still sitting around. So if you're below freezing up here towards, just northwest of Dallas, you could see some maybe some freezing rain before it changes to rain up that way. I'll show you this model here in just a second. But this is we've been talking about this for a little while, that as Arctic air starts retreating, models will try to warm it up a little too fast, and we're going to have, there's always, when that warm air tries to come up and over this Arctic boundary, that's going to be draped across the area. It's going to turn into a warm front, and this warm, moist air during as we undergo this pattern change, we will have some wintry weather we're going to have to deal with. More models are starting to pick up on that. I'm sure your locals will start picking up and talking about it as well. So, um, Some of these temperatures are in the teens still around Little Rock up to northeastern Arkansas. This is late Sunday night. That as we go through the morning hours on Monday, you see it's starting to warm up above freezing here in Texas, but it's still well below freezing up here in Arkansas into Missouri and parts of Oklahoma. And this is where we're going to start having issues with icing. Okay. Before all this warm air that's sitting down here in the Gulf starts riding up, because we're going to have more of a southwesterly flow. And like I said, there's going to be a warm front trying to push north, but it's going to try to push this heavy, dense Arctic air out of the way, and models tend to do that too quickly. The GFS is actually on it. The Canadian's been on it from the get go, and we've been talking about this for for a couple of weeks now. As the Arctic air retreats, there will be something there that causes possibly some more winter weather. And here we're going to go for Monday or Sunday night in through possibly Monday night into Tuesday, as we go from southwest to northeast. We'll have a freezing rain starting out possibly in northeastern Texas into Oklahoma, possibly parts of Arkansas, as we go through Sunday night into Monday. And then as we transition through Monday, we'll start transitioning to rain in Texas, into Oklahoma, into Arkansas as we get towards Monday afternoon, Monday night, and then northeast from there. Okay, so here is the map of this initial thoughts, which I brought out a couple days ago, for the area here. All right, just real quick, I'm gonna go through two models here with you. So here's the Canadian with you. Let me see if I can get these side by side so I can show. Alrighty, the GFS is on your left. I'm sorry, the Canadian's on your left. The GFS is on your right. This is for the time period of very early, probably 3 to 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. Okay, so the GFS did not show this 24 hours ago. The Canadian's been on it ever since, because it does a little bit better job at low level Arctic air being still in place. Now, can it be a little bit colder than this? It could be, because it's hard to get this dense, cold Arctic air out of the way. All right. So, pretty similar here with the Canadian on your left and the GFS on your right here. So, as we go throughout the day, as you can see here, it starts to the GFS is a little bit tries to warm it up a little bit too quick, in my opinion. But you see the substantial amount of freezing rain up here towards western Arkansas into Oklahoma. It's already changed over to rain into Texas. Okay, so this is as of probably around noon on Monday. Then, as we transition throughout the day and through the afternoon, towards the afternoon hours, uh, freezing rain basically in the Ozarks here, higher elevations, and then same here on the right with the GFS. GFS tries to hold the cold air now into parts of Arkansas and Missouri a little bit longer than the Canadian now. Okay, so even as we transition in through Monday evening into Monday night, it's still trying to hold up that cold air across parts of northern Arkansas into eastern Missouri, getting up towards Illinois now. Basically, everything else has changed to rain here as we're undergoing that pattern change, and we're trying to move this Arctic air out of the way and getting this more warm, moist air into the pattern here. So freezing rain possible up here, Illinois, Iowa, and some blotch. If the Canadian came through here, it'd be some blotchy, still freezing rain Monday night across parts of Arkansas here. And then, if you believe the GFS, which like I said, keeps the cold air a little bit longer here in parts of Arkansas and Missouri, could be overnight into Monday still, and into Tuesday morning before it slowly gets to rain across basically the rest of the area here. So my concern is, now we have a little bit more guidance on this. My concern is going up with possible icing across the area. Like I said, we've been talking about this probably 4 or 5 days now. This possibility, we've been talking about it with supporters, that as Arctic air retreats or starts retreating, there will be something around that causes ice, winter weather, stuff like that. So here we are. This will be the end of it for a while, but this could be if this happened exactly this way, there could be some impacts with this, but we will fine tune this as we go into the weekend. But this is been trying to give you all a little bit of a heads up on this because the way this heavier precip comes into the region, this could be pretty substantial. So if this happens this way, something to keep in the back of your mind, just to keep an eye on as we go into late weekend and into early next week. And then as we transition into next middle next week, we're going to be into basically a January thaw. Lots of heavy rain possible across most of the area here with inches and inches of rain with cold ground conditions and dormant vegetation, of course. There's going to be excessive runoff. Plus, we have some snow still on the ground. So, there's going to be some flooding concerns possibility as we go into mid to late next week. And then we'll talk about the long range and the supporter hub. But the winter is not going to be over. This is just a thaw until we get the cold air back. So, February is still looking rather interesting across the area. So, here is what I have. Basically, I issued this a couple days ago. We've been talking about it for days. We talked about it for weeks over the supporter hub as well. This Arctic boundary is going to change into a warm front as this southwest flow comes in, gathers some Gulf of Mexico moisture, really tries to um, push it up and over where the shallow Arctic air is still, and this warm front will slowly start moving northeast. So all this down here towards Texas, you may start out as some freezing rain, but it should transition to rain pretty quickly. But then, as I have more concerns across eastern Oklahoma into the Ozarks of Arkansas into Missouri, eastern Missouri, up into Illinois, with a more prolonged icing event that could possibly happen. So like I said, this is still kind of a preliminary stages, but like I said, the GFS didn't show it at all. Euro's been showing it for a little bit. We've been warning you guys for a while that this could be happening. Okay, so I think over the next couple days, if the guidance holds, you're going to start hearing more and more about this uh, across social media and your local weather stations as well. So something to keep in mind. But as we go in through tomorrow, this is what to expect. I think it's good. There's going to be more of a chance of a glaze of ice, basically from right around the I-40 corridor and then up towards Jonesboro, Little Rock, Memphis. Memphis is basically the bullseye for a glaze to possibly a tenth of an inch of ice up that way. Western Tennessee, and then could be some wraparound snows. Like I said, when the second system comes through with a lot colder air coming in the purple up here, but you're going to be dealing with some freezing rain at the beginning, and then probably changing to a little bit of snow. And then up here in the blue, you could have some snow, possibly dusting to possibly 2 inches as you get over towards Kentucky into the the mountains here as well. All right, so that's all for this evening. Please, as you're driving in the morning, if it's drizzling outside or some light freezing rain, you need to be careful. Watch out for black ice. Anything that falls will stick to the roadways and could create some issues out there. As like I said, as we have the National Weather Service has already issued winter weather advisories throughout most of eastern Arkansas into most of Tennessee. Exception is just south of Nashville and most of Kentucky as well. Northern Mississippi um, is included with the winter weather advisory. So stay safe out there. Watch out for black ice. Then the cold front's coming in this weekend. It's going to get brutally cold again. Could be below zero again across parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, into northern parts of Arkansas, into southern Missouri, or into Missouri as well, with some of these nighttime lows over the weekend. Then we have to deal with possibly some icing concerns next week. Okay? Stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your evening.